when I first started out, I went to a very, very small community hospital. I was 21 when I got my first job. I mean, looking back, I'm like, how did I do this? But, I showed up at the hospital, had my orientation, but I was given 6 to 8 patients. And looking back, I don't know how I did that, but at the root of that are the nurses that took me under their wing and held my hand through it all. Like I can still name them, like Angie, Rose, like just these nurses that were patient with me and helped me and, you know, facilitated correcting my mistakes. That is something that I want to pay forward to the newer generation. When I was only at that hospital for a couple years, and then I think I told this story in my first episode introducing myself, but I volunteered for that hospital at a health fair and took a blood pressure. Long story short, ended up in the NICU. And my mentor, and I hope she listens to this, I hope you're listening to this, Kim, changed my life. I was so nervous my first day. I remember I started with a girl named Erin, and the day that we went in to meet our preceptors, I met Erin's preceptor first, and she was like so nice. She was, so welcoming. And then I went and met my preceptor, Kim, and she was in the middle of, I think it was like doing a line change. So she was sterilely hanging an IV line, and she was just like, "Oh, hi, we'll connect when you start in the unit." And I was terrified. I was like, "Erin, why is your girl so nice and mine barely talked to me? Like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do?" But long story short, she was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. She showed me how to be a nurse, how to be caring, how to be a good human in a lot of situations. When we're working 12-hour shifts, we basically live with our colleagues. So they become part of our family unintentionally. But I learned a lot about life, and I learned a lot about my attitude and my personality just from a job, like being oriented at a job. So when I say it changed my life, it did. These are the people that influence you during, I feel, your most vulnerable time, your 20s. That's when you kind of transition into adulthood and get your big girl pants on. And I say that because my orientation in the NICU was, I think it was 4 months. And a saying that always was said to me was, you got to put your big girl panties on. And that's true. Like there's some tough personalities in the healthcare field, nurses, doctors, whomever. It's tough personalities. You can't get your feelings hurt. I cried a lot. It's terrifying, mostly out of fear, just to, making mistakes. But, also like I got yelled at. I made mistakes. I felt bad. I didn't want to mess up. So there were a lot of tears shed. But at the very end of my orientation, she got me like a little gift bag, and it was like cute, like little toiletries. And then at the bottom of the bag, she pulled out a ginormous pair of white panties. And she said, "You did it. You finally earned your big girl panties." And I will never forget that. And everyone laughed. I mean, it was like set up. I was the only one that didn't know I was going to be gifted underwear during my shift at work. But, it goes to show the heart of Kim and what she wanted for me and the ground and the road she paved for me. And, I can't express how much I appreciate that and how grateful I am for that.